Oh, shit. Alrighty, so UFC is having another Fight Night event, being Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales, and I'm here to give you my picks and predictions of the whole fight card, reasoning behind every single pick, and I do this based off passion. I don't put money on these fights, unless I'm feeling a little bit risky, but do this for the love of the sport. I'm just a fan of MMA at the end of the day. Let's get into the predictions, baby. So first up, we got Luana Pinheiro. God damn it. Why do we have to start with the women's fight? Well, at least it'll be a good shit break. At least I don't have to watch this, you know. I can come to the card a little late. Okay, I don't have to watch this. Now, some people use the pick doctor. Some people like using logic, reasoning, and the like. I, myself, personally, like using the tried and true method of a coin flip. All right, so we got heads on the left, tails on the right. I think that's what I normally do. I might be a little off on there, but I prefer the coin flip. Coin went 3-0 last fight card. Okay, we'll take it. Okay, so I think there's I think there's a new meta. All right, maybe this is to tell you to stop gambling on women's fights. All right, so here we go. Coin flip. Woman on the left is, what did I say? I already forgot. Woman on the left is heads. Woman on the right is tails. We got heads. I think I said that was the left one. I keep forgetting. Anyways, we got the left one. Luana Pinheiro. What do we got for odds here? Ooh, plus 310 underdog. Ooh, 3-fight losing streak. You know, Jillian Robertson, you know, she's Canadian, so what can I say? She's the GOAT. You know, Angela Hill's a tough cookie, you know, as they say. Amanda Hebos, I mean, what a legend of a fighter. You know, what's her win? Carla Esparza? You know, what are we looking at? Ooh, oh, you know, she's the younger fighter, guys. She's 3 inches taller. I mean, can you even want anything more in a women's MMA fight? You know, even have a has a 1-inch reach advantage, 2 centimeters. Some say. Yeah. So we're going Pinheiro. We're going. Hey, tried and true, 29-28 split decision, baby. That's what I like to see. All right, moving on. Wait, Tisha Pennington, the Tiny Tornado. I think that's Raquel Pennington's wife? Sister? I don't. At this point, I don't give a fuck. All right. Moving on. Hyun Sung Park versus Carlos Hernandez. This is very interesting. I like my flyweights. All right. I like my little men. Don't clip that. I like the flyweights. You know, they typically put on a good showing most of the time. Okay. Hyun Sung Park. He's a pretty good fighter. Pretty good fighter. I believe flawless. I'm not going to look at the record because I'm getting good at this shit, okay? And if you're wondering, no, I don't look at other people's predictions, okay? Before making my own. And then I like to look at other people's predictions and realize how wrong I am. But hey, 10 toes down, I stand with my picks. Hyun Sung Park, Carlos Hernandez. This is tough because Hernandez is really good. But he's almost like a Radke, whereas he's 50-50 fighter. You know, one performance, he looks like dog shit against shit comp. Another performance, he looks fucking like he's masterclassing these kids. And then he just does shit again. You know, I think his record is, what, 10-4? Eesh, something like that. It's not a great record. He's good, though. He's a hard worker, but does that matter in MMA? Or does talent just trump all? Peace of mind, Hyun Sung Park. I think Carlos Hernandez, I think, is coming off a decision his last fight against that name. I remember that. I think it was actually, I thought it was a clear Hernandez, and I think he was actually, whatchamacallit? I think he was actually, like, a pretty big underdog in that fight as well. But yeah, Ray Tatsuria, I mean, that's not, like, a terrible loss, to be fair. Tatsuro Taira, it's not a terrible loss, but he got KO'd. It didn't look very good either. You know, Dennis Bondar, you know. Hernandez is like, he is like the skill, he's the archetype you want to be. Really good striker, maybe not the best, but, you know, he focuses mainly on his striking, and then he's got slick BJJ. You know, he doesn't really offensively grapple. He's a short, stocky dude. He's the underdog. I'm very tempted. Who's this last guy's fight? Shannon Ross. No one cares. Almost 2 years ago, man. I don't like that for a prospect. South Korean? This is tough. This is a... Hey, we're going with some barn burners really early here. Yeah. I'm so scared of this pick, man. That's a UFC opponent? I've never even seen that name before. Holy shit, what the fuck? What are these names? Okay, this would be very Carlos Hernandez to lose this. Like, I can feel it. I can feel him about to lose this one. But it is just like I think he is like the better fighter. More active. How old is he? 31? Pride age? Flyweight? 5'8". Ooh, this is tough. This is really, really tough. Park looked really good in the grappling. You know what? I'm so tempted to go Park. I could just feel it, but Hernandez is the better fighter, in my opinion. I do think skill for skill, he is better. I could see him getting, like, tagged and it looking a little rough. Flyweights just, they're all chinny and they're all good at grappling. That's kind of just how flyweights are, you know? And you either make a mistake and get caught in the submissions, you know, or you'll get tagged on the feet. That's kind of how, like, flyweights lose. It's such a hard pick. I'm going to go Hernandez. I'm feeling a sub. You know, Park, I think, likes to go to the back. Liver shot to ground strikes, eh? I don't remember the Shannon Ross one. I'll be honest. Hey, I'll keep it a buck. I don't remember this one. You know? Fucking almost a year and a half ago. Alright? I don't remember that fight. But, like, I don't rate the win. You know? I don't rate, like, not being that active. This is the year where prospects are dying out. Carlos Hernandez is a nugget, but he does work hard. You know, maybe his run starts now. Maybe he's wizened up. He actually is 10-4. Wow. Spot on there. I'm going to go with around 2 sub. I'm not going to lie. You know, I'm feeling it. I just think Carlos Hernandez is, like, good. Outside of him being a 50-50 fighter, he is, like, technically good. Yeah, I'm going to go with Hernandez by round 2 sub. You know, I can just see Park struggling a little bit on the feet, because Hernandez is, like, not that bad on the feet. I can see Park struggling a lot on the feet. Round 2 starts up. Maybe he had success in round 1 with some grappling, you know, getting Hernandez's back. And then I'm thinking in round 2 tries to do something similar, but because he's sweaty, because he's tired, he's making a mistake. Hernandez reverses a position or two. You know, maybe gets a guillotine off a bad takedown or an awkward takedown. It's flyweights, so these guys are tall for flyweight, to be fair, but it's very easy to get snatched up doing something silly at flyweight. They're speedy dudes. Hernandez is at least battle-tested, and he's active, which I rate a little bit more than being inactive and only having 9 fights. Like, I know Hernandez only has 14, but I don't know. I do, you know, I like people who have experience, okay? I've spent 10 minutes talking about the first fight. Let's move on, all right? Elise Reed versus Denise Gomes. Heads on the left, tails on the right. We're going with Denise Gomes. Please don't be the underdog. Oh, heavy favorite. Hey, that's what we're talking about. Hey, the coin is coming fucking out, all right? 25 years old, you know, she's got the age advantage. She's got, you know, she's Brazilian, so she's probably got good ground game. Denise Gomes via decision. Elise Reed, it sucks to suck. Yeah, Yeah, oh well. Moving on. We have Connor Matthews versus this guy. This guy, I'm the Cuban problem. I'm like 90% sure this guy's a debut. I don't watch these bums outside the UFC. It is a debut. Ooh. Jose Delgado, eh? That was only two months ago? Really? Why am I just not remembering that? Holy shit. Dennis Bazooka. It's actually not too bad, you know? Not horrible. Ooh. This is another tough one. There's a lot of nail biters here. So, that's a lot of nail... What do we got? Decision. Sub. Connor Matthews is good on the ground. Well, you know, okay on the ground, I'd say. This is tough. Miguel Lugo. KO'd. Okay. Yeah, this is rough. I think... Man, 8-0 prospect. Like, they're just not experienced enough. You know? Like, I want to see these, like, 16-0 guys. I don't like 8-0. 8-0 means, like, nothing. 9-0, nothing. You know? 10-0, we can maybe start talking. You know? But, like, they're just... It's so little experience. You know, Connor Matthews, job on the line. If Ode Osborne is keeping his job this year, I think Connor Matthews could. This is tough. I'm going to go with Connor Matthews. I'm going to go... Yeah, you know what? I think this Dill Valley guy, alright? He's going to shoot a takedown, okay? He's going to have success on the grappling. Think he's fucking all of that, alright? And then he's going to get subbed, okay? He's going to, you know, he's going to do some stupid things and get subbed, you know? In round 3, alright? Actually, no. You know what? I'm going to go decision. Yeah. I'm going to go decision because I think Connor Matthews is going... I can see Connor Matthews just, like, getting to better position, you know? And I feel like you got to have power to knock out a guy like Connor Matthews. I mean, he got finished by a guy with Bazooka in his name, who actually does have decent power, to be fair. This could be a case where he's just got no chin, but... I guess we'll see. A lot of these guys who have their career on the line, who, you know, don't have the cleanest records, are winning this year. I'm trusting my boy Connor Matthews to get it done, alright? It's probably the last time I'm going to pick him, if I'm being honest, depending on the result, because he might get cut, but it is what it is. Moving on, we have, how many women are on this card? Are we joking with this? Okay, this is the last one. Thank fuck. Heads on the left, tails on the right. Heads on the left. Alright, we got Luana Santos beating this lady, you know, via decision 29-28. Hey, slight favorite. She's younger by 10 years, you know. There's probably some stat that means younger fighters win that are 10 years younger 80% of the time, 70% of the time, some shit. I don't care. It's a woman's fight. Moving on, Jared Gordon versus Thiago Moises. Wow, that has to be like one of the oldest pictures of all time. I don't think... When the fuck did Jared Gordon have that hair? God damn. This guy looks fucking... He almost looks like a Gargamel mixed with a Mark Wahlberg. Anybody else? Jared Gordon is really good. Did beat Paddy Pimblett, despite what scorecard said. Did clearly beat Paddy Pimblett, and he whooped that other wrestler, like a bronze medalist, maybe? I can't remember his name. Mark Madsen, some shit like that. That guy is terrible, to be fair, but Jared Gordon did whoop his ass. He was beating Bobby Green, got head clashed. He had, I believe, a good last fight, right? No, it's a loss. To who? Oh, Nasrat Hakparas. That is aged very well, to be fair. Yeah, that was King Green. Mark Madsen. I was actually right. Holy shit, I'm getting good at my predictions here. Or at least remembering, you know? To be honest with you, he could be on a 5-fight winning streak, you know? This guy could be on a 5-fight winning streak, like, numbers-wise. If, like, the judges were actually good at their jobs, but, you know, we know how it is. Jared Gordon is good. His one problem, outside of being a little older, because I think he's like mid-30s, high 30s, outside of being a little older, Jared Gordon does make mistakes. He is like the, you know, shoots a takedown, will end up on bottom type of dude. You know, he is the, okay, blast the low kicks now. They're open for it, they're waiting for it, and he's just sitting there trying to box. You know? He is the guy who's not going to adjust to whatever's going on. Thiago Moises is another one of these 50-50 fighters who just, like, will show up, look elite level, and then the next fight, he looks like dog shit. You know? I think his last fight, it was very, very close, if I'm remembering correctly. You know, despite this unanimous decision. I believe it was very, very close to Trey Ogden. And Trey Ogden, he's not the greatest. Is Trey Ogden worse than Jared Gordon? Probably. Styles make fights. Thiago Moises is a dominant grappler, to be fair. Has a little bit of a gas tank problem, I think. But sometimes he looks fucking clean, man. What was that? What was this fight? Mitch Ramirez. He looked fucking insane. I think it was with the leg kicks. He looked like a demon with the leg kicks. And then, who did he lose to? Ludovic Klein. Hey, good loss. Okay, Ludovic Klein's good. Tough. This is tough. I'm going to go with Thiago. I think this is going to be another close fight. And we're going to see a 29-28 decision. And I think Thiago's just going to have, like, the control time on his advantage. You know? He's no Olympic fucking wrestler or whatever, but he's pretty good on the ground. And he's pretty good at getting people to the ground, which I think is very, very important in MMA. You know, you can't just have a wrestling base bow nickel, okay? You need to have, like, MMA grappling. You need to be able to get people down in, like, awkward angles and shit, in MMA. And Jared Gordon, I don't think, like, does the adjustments he needs to make, you know? And I think that's why, you know, maybe it's a robbery with the Nasrat Haqparast, for sure a robbery with Paddy Pimblett, but Jared does not make it, like, clear on these rounds, you know? He's very bad at, he's almost like a shit Bilal, if you think about it. Kind of like a shit Bilal without the grappling, you know? And it's just like, you gotta, for me to pick you, you gotta make it clear. I respect Jared Gordon. I think he can win this. I think these odds are actually, it's not bad odds, to be fair. I think Jared Gordon should be the underdog here, but Thiago Moises, I think, is also really young, right? 30 years old. I like that, man. I like that. You know, he's still young-ish, so I don't know. Jared Gordon, he's good. I respect him. I can see him winning this. It's not like I'm fully on Thiago Moises. I'm not on the Thiago Moises train here. I just think that Thiago is probably going to get a close decision. We're going to see, like, Jared Gordon, like, both are going to be tired. Jared Gordon's going to stand up, and he's going to have his hands raised, and he's going to be waiting for his name to get called, and it's just going to not be there, and Thiago's just going to be, like, looking like he lost, in a way, in terms of head position, everything. That's just what I can see here, you know? Thiago Moises style, just, like, making it kind of boring. And he's not bad, you know? Like, who's more dangerous out of the two? Probably Moises. And who's, like, willing to close rounds better? Honestly, about the same, but I'd even give the edge to Moises. I just think Moises is just slightly better everywhere. Maybe except for the boxing. So Jared Gordon could get, like, a nice style on Thiago Moises if Moises just wants to sit there and box. I just don't see it happening, you know? So, yeah, I'm going to go with Thiago Moises. I'm going to go by decision. You know, I trust in the Moises to get it done. But I respect Jared Gordon, you know? I think Jared Gordon's good. Number 24, eh? Are these numbers accurate? I don't actually know. I'm pretty new to this topology shit, okay? Yeah. Gonna go with decision 29-28, and it's gonna be like there's gonna be one swing round that I think the judges are gonna give to Moises, like, no matter what. Yeah. I think Jared Gordon's just one of these guys who's cursed. Judges just don't like him. Moving on. Who the fuck is this? Mateus Camilo versus Gabe Green. Gifted Green. Alright. The guy who got finished within 10 seconds by the next welterweight champion, Brian Battle. Hey, mark my words, baby. Is this a debut? This is the debut. Who the fuck is this? Now, this is going to be tough because Gabe Green hasn't fought in, what, 2 years? Oh my god, he hasn't fought in 2 years, man. Brian Battle did whoop his ass, though. Alright, Brian Battle. You know, people forget, man. Brian Battle's fucking good, alright? Lost to Ian Gary via decision. Beat Johan Lioness by KO. Not bad. But he's inactive as shit. Phil Rowe win. Not bad. But he's inactive as shit. And this is lightweight, I'm pretty sure, right? Last weight. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be lightweight. What are the odds? Don't like looking at odds because it kind of sways my opinion. I get why Gabe Green is an underdog, I guess. What are we looking at here? Decision, submission, KO. This is tough, man. Do I trust the weight cut of Gabe Green because he was a big welterweight? I'm gonna. What's the height? Almost similar height. It's the muscle density that's probably the big difference. I'm thinking Gabe Green's gonna win this one via just being, like, stronger. You know? I think a lot of these guys, like, I know the weight cuts are brutal for some people. But I think guys like Randy Brown and shit, like, benefit heavily. Or, Chitty Bang Bang, can't remember his full name, but that's his nickname. Like, those guys benefit, like, a lot better from going down a weight class. I think Gabe Green might be able to do it. To be honest, this Camilo guy I just haven't seen shit from. I'm gonna go Gabe Green via boring decision. I can see hesitancy and him just being, like, able to outmuscle Camilo. You know? And the decision with Ian Gary, you know, it's not bad, I guess, but I don't like the inactivity. If he does get smoked, I'm not going to be fucking surprised. Like, I'm not like, yeah, Gabe Green's run starts now, baby, lightweight. He could probably even miss weight. He was a big dude. I'm surprised he's even trying to make lightweight at this point, but it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to go with Gabe Green, you know. I'm picking a lot of underdogs. I'm getting kind of scared here. Moving on. Julian Rosa versus Melquel Costa. Costa's been pretty active, okay? And that worries me. Because when you're really active, typically you get to the point where your HP can only go down so many times during a fight. He's not getting touched up, don't get me wrong. But I'm more worried that these camps back to back to back are like what's going to do it in for him. Julian Rosa is good, but his last fight against Darren the Damage Elkins, I believe that was his name. Yeah, Darren the Damage Elkins. That fight was literally like watching a crime happen while slow motion. Rosa's striking is probably some of the slowest striking you'll ever see, especially in that last fight. It's not normally that bad. I don't know. It was really weird. He is slow, and Costa's fast. So I can see a lot of people picking Costa. I might go Julian Rosa here. Is he an underdog too? He is an underdog. Wow. Really? 35, I get it. But, like, 3-fight win streak. C-Rod, you know, Ricardo Ramos. That's not even... it's kind of not the greatest win, but, you know, it's a win. 4 weeks ago? When was this Andre Philly fight? So it's a quick turnaround for both men. Oh, the C-Rod fight. Right, he fraud-checked. Well, yeah, kind of fraud-checked, I guess you could say. C-Rod's kind of been fraud-checked. But he got originally fraud-checked by... Yeah, he got originally fraud-checked by Julian Rosa here, so... Ooh, this is the fraud-checker going against... the sloppy seconds of the fraud checking. You know, Philly got slept by Dan Ige, and then Costa ended up fighting him. This is tough. These fights are tough to predict, this card, I'll be honest. I think I'm going to go with Julian Erosa. I'm going to go by sub. You know, I'm going to go by sub. I think he's going to do exactly what happened to fucking Philly. I think Costa's going to shoot a takedown. Maybe he's got like a knee injury or some shit, and he wants to like get to the ground pretty fast and not like do stand up. And I think he's going to shoot like an awkward takedown. And I think he's just going to get guillotined off of it, to be honest with you. You know, pretty active fighter. Pretty active dude. But I am kind of worried that he's got injuries going into this fight. I guess it's not crazy active, but it is like active. Shorter dude as well, eh? Shorter reach, wow. Stream Couture, shoot a box. Yeah, I don't know. I think Erosa's like good. You know, I doubted Erosa a little while ago. Especially with this Fernando Padilla, you know, because I thought Fernando Padilla sucked ass. Boy, was I wrong. You know, but Erosa's kind of like reinvigorated his career. I can see him winning this one. Man, I'm going a lot of underdogs. This is going to be risky. I think I'm going to go with sub. I think it's going to be round 1. I think Costa is going to get a little too overzealous, you know? I respect Costa a little bit more. I thought he was a bum going into that fight. And I've been proven wrong. You know, I picked against Miquel Costa, I think, in his last 2 as well. I respect the kid, alright? But, hype train ends here, okay? Julian Erosa is the hype train derailer king, okay? He's the more well-rounded Paul Craig, if you will, alright? Miquel Costa is not getting past the true fraud-checking king and Julian Erosa. Moving on, Nursultan Ruziboyev versus Dustin Stoltzfus. I respect Dustin Stoltzfus. I'm going to kind of speed run here at the end. I respect Stoltzfus. Heavy hitter. I just think Ruziboyev's better everywhere. You know, he's a good striker. He's an okay striker and will get away with cheating. That's an important thing to mention. Stoltzfus is very open on the feet. He does want to, like, he's almost like a worse Roman Dolidze. I could see a round 2 KO. I think Ruziboyev is going to get away with cheating in this fight. I think he's, you know, hooking gloves, eye poke like he did on Cedric Dumas, which, by the way, is in prison now. What are we doing, brother? But, I think he's in prison. He's on, like, some sort of crazy bond right now for aggravated armed robbery. Or, is it robbery? It was either robbery or it was, like, a home invasion. Some shit like that. I can't remember. Regardless, Nursultan Black Ruziboyev. What the fuck is his nickname? What the fuck? I respect it. I didn't know that was his nickname. Yeah, Ruziboyev has only had one shit performance, and that was against Joaquin Buckley at welterweight. That's it. Ruziboyev's just been a fucking killer, like, in every other performance. You know, Cedric Dumas, Bruno Ferreira. I rate the fuck out of Bruno Ferreira, okay? Stoltzfus, yeah, he beat Marc-Andre Barriot. It is what it is. He lost to Bruno Ferreira. Hey, MMA math, baby. You know, that's how it goes. Punahele, yeah, it's just, like... Yeah. I just think, like, Dustin loses to the guys he's supposed to lose to. I think Ruziboyev is one of the guys he's supposed to lose to, you know, in terms of the timeline we're looking at here. So I'm going with Ruziboyev KO round 2. Could be round 3. I can see Stoltz just getting really tired after gassing out. Ruziboyev could have some gassing problems as well. But yeah, I'm going to go with Nursultan Ruziboyev. Moving on, Cedric Dumas versus Marian Santos. What do we got here? Francis Marshall split a year ago. Don't like that. Con Offley. How old is brother? 31, 24. I'm going to go with Cedric Dumas. Cedric Dumas? I'm going to go with Sadiq Youssef. Oops. Via decision here, guys. Yeah. Marian Santos could get this done. He did put a whooping on Edson Barbosa. That was like a prime Edson Barbosa he was fighting too. You know, some of these old fighters, they just randomly become prime and then lose brain cells as time goes on. The Edson Barbosa he fought was like a vintage Edson Barbosa. Mayrin Santos is not Edson Barbosa. Nowhere near as like technical, I'd say, as Edson is. Yeah, Arnold Allen lost isn't that bad. Alex Caceres, whoever the fuck that was, and Diego Lopez KO. Yeah, in fairness, his 2 losses aren't bad losses. But Diego Lopez did just lose. So is this going to be like, how shit is Cedric Dumas because he just lost to fucking Diego Lopez? Kind of rough. Kind of rough. I don't like a split with Francis Marshall, though. That worries me. Francis Marshall sucks. Man, how many underdogs do I have picked? 1, 2... Who did I pick? Green. 3. That's even. I'm not going to count it. I don't care about women. 4. 5. Yo, I might be cooked this card. Holy shit. Alright. Yeah, I'm going to go with Yusuf by decision. I think Yusuf is tough enough to survive whatever Mayrin Santos has if Francis Marshall ain't getting finished. I don't think Cedric is getting finished. Yeah, he's got chinned twice. Technically, I'm counting the Edson as getting chinned because Edson, like, literally had this guy on fucking skates for a whole minute. Basically was out of it. Was able to defend the submission threat, to be fair. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Cedric. I think Cedric's, like, good. I don't think he's... I think he's, like... bottom 15 ranked featherweight material. I don't think Mayrin Santos right now is near that. You know, very young, needs some improvement. I think he's a little bit like Prado. Like, Prado's not bad, but it's just like at some point you gotta realize like experience does fucking matter. Cedric's got experience, you know? So, I'm gonna go with Cedric. He's fought the higher level opponents. He's not going to split decisions with Francis Marshall, although he did lose. And again, like, Arnold Allen, it's not even a bad loss either. You know? So, yeah, we're going to go with Cedric Yusuf here. Or Sadiq Yusuf, I should say. Yeah, I think Yusuf's good, you know? I don't think Mayrin Santos is all that. Moving on to Paul Craig versus Rodolfo Bellato. I'm so cooked this card. I can't pick Bellato. Bellato sucks, man. He does. He's open on the feet. He was literally knocked out in one of his fights. And the ref didn't call it because... for some reason. You know? Like... but that's plot armor, though. You gotta think about it, you know? He does look like Angelo Bodie from We Want Picks. You know? These are the things you gotta think about when you're picking fighters. This is tough. Rodolfo Bellato. He kind of does have aura because he's been yapping a lot on the mic too. Oh, this is... I don't like picking against Paul Craig because Paul Craig is fucking good. Is Rodolfo Bellato better than Pedro Munoz? This is what you have to think of. Is Rodolfo Bellato... is he on par with the Caio Borralhos? Is he on par with... who else is Paul Craig losing to? I thought he beat Bo Nickel. I'll say it. I thought he beat Bo Nickel. I thought he clearly won the first and second. He lost the third, but I thought he clearly won the first and second. I'll say it. Striking looked much better than Bo Nickel, you know? So I don't know how Oldberg gets the win over Jan Blachowicz. And Paul Craig doesn't get the win over Bo Nickel. Oh yeah, I remember. Bo Nickel's got plot armor. You know, they were trying to fucking baby that kid until he got fraud checked by RDR. You know, the Caio Borralho loss, it is what... like, Caio's good, though. Like, really good. He's missing that it factor, but he's good. Brendan Allen is good when he's not dumber than a bag of rocks. This is his career on the line. Andre Muniz is shit. And I remember that. Good fight. Lost to Johnny Walker. But Johnny Walker does hit hard. Like, that's the problem. Wait, a draw? This was the Jimmy Crute fight? Oh, I'm loading the house on Paul Craig. He looked like... I thought Belotto lost that fight, number one. Number two, that was a terrible performance for both men. He beat Ior Pateria. That was his good performance I was thinking of. No, that was the performance where he was knocked out. And the ref just didn't call the fight for some reason. Ground and pound style. And Ior just kind of gassed out. Bro, Paul Craig's not gassing out, though. And he's not going to try to TKO this kid. He's going to try to fucking lock in that choke. Listen, Paul Craig's chinny. But, like, Belotto, like, are we going to pretend like Belotto isn't? He was getting wobbled by Jimmy fucking Crute. Nah, I'm going Craig. I'm going Paul Craig. I don't care. I feel it in my bones. We're going to see a vintage Paul Craig. He's going to go out there. And he's going to get the win, okay? He's going to look dangerous. He's not going to get the finish. But he'll get the decision, okay? He's going to win 2 of the 3 rounds, getting dropped in one of the rounds. But he's tough enough to survive, alright? Fingers crossed. I'm going with Paul Craig, man. People forget, man. Paul Craig does have a win over Jamal Hill and Ankalaev. And I know that's going to go down as, like, his whole shtick. But he's not bad. It's just he doesn't have a great chin. But you have to find the chin. Belotto's not, like, if Belotto can't beat Jimmy Crute, clearly, I don't think he beats Paul Craig. I'm going Paul Craig. Moving on. Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales. I want to go Gilbert Burns so fucking bad. You have no idea how much I want to go Gilbert Burns so fucking bad, okay? Gilbert Burns, I have a lot of respect for, okay? Did better against JDM than Bilal Muhammad did. Who's with me, boys? Okay? Did get finished, but that doesn't matter because he was winning 2 rounds out of the 3. Okay. Really good grappling. But it's starting to age, you know? It's starting to not be so good grappling. Was dangerous on the feet when he was fighting Khamzat Chimaev. Then the power just randomly went away. Or Khamzat Chimaev has no chin, which is my theory. I want to go Gilbert Burns so bad. I love Gilbert Burns. This guy's a marauder. I love watching Gilbert Burns fights. Even in, like, the grappling fights he has, they're still, like, entertaining to watch. He's high level. He is a dog. And Michael Morales is missing that it, but he's a little bit like Kyle Brahalio, where he's like a 9 out of 10 everywhere. He's just missing that 1 10 out of 10 stat, you know? This is tough. I want to go Burns so bad. And I know they're going to disrespect him with these odds. I'm going to go Michael Morales by decision. I just think this is Burns' send-off, you know? They better get a promo ready for this guy, okay? I think it's a send-off. Gilbert Burns has only taken tough fights. And any easy fight he was given, he mopped the floor with them. Jorge Masvidal. I think that was his last win. And that's partially why I'm going with Michael Morales. Yeah, that was his last win. The sub over Neil Magny, you know. But yeah, Bilal Muhammad, JDM, Sean Brady, back to back to back. Just the murder, literally like the... You have the champ, you have the previous champ, the current champ, and a future champ, and Sean Brady beating Gilbert Burns back to back to back. How fucked up is that for his career? Oh my god, he's minus 650. Oh, the disrespect. Oh, man. He's only 38, though, guys. He's only 38. Like, this is what we have to think of. But the problem, like... The problem with Burns, despite skill-wise, I think skill-wise Gilbert Burns is actually the better fighter. The problem though is that Burns is one of these older fighters. He's not built for the division he's in. You know what I mean? Like Morono, he's not built for welterweight. You know, Morono's always been built for lightweight, but he could never make the cut somehow. It's just unfortunate because he's good technically everywhere. You know, he's a marauder. But it is just, he's a short dude. Yeah, he's stocky, but he's not like built like a welterweight. He doesn't have the reach like a lot of these welterweights do. He doesn't have the height advantage like a lot of these welterweights are having. Because welterweight, like bare minimum entries, starting to be 6 foot. Trains at a good gym though. A 5-rounder though. I think Michael Morales is going to win this. I think he's going to have a good round 1. I think the middle rounds are going to be like Gilbert Burns rounds. And I think 4th and 5th are going to be a Michael Morales round, you know? And he's just optically wise, going to be looking like he's winning the fight. 25 years old though. Like, Burns is a tough test. Like, Burns is really fucking good. But I picked like an underdog in every single fight, man. Oh, this is the thing. I'm gonna, bro. I don't want to see Dorino go down, man. He's a good fighter. He is technically better. But Morales, I think, is just gonna be like ahead everywhere. I think he's gonna be slightly faster. I think he's gonna have the bigger moments. You know, this is the problem. This is the problem here. I think he's going to be able to outmuscle Burns. Even though Burns is like a stocky dude. It sucks, but yeah. I'm going to go with Morales. I'm going to be rooting for Burns. Hey, hand on the Bible. I might even... Hey, picks and bets are different. As they say at We Want Picks. Okay? I'm not coining that. I'm going to, borrow that term for this video. I might throw a wild Hail Mary on Gilbert Burns via decision. Okay? I might put a 5er on it. But I just, it's hard for me to pick Burns when his last win is Jorge Masvidal. He did get round 1 KO'd by Kamaru Usman. I get it, friend, emotional, whatever. But it is just, there's so many things around Burns now where it's, at some point you just gotta be, he's just not able to be a ranked welterweight anymore. You know? Ranked welterweights are dangerous all-arounders. Gilbert Burns is kind of like grappling or bust. His striking is there because of aura he got from the Hamzat fight. His striking is not bad. But it's just at the point now where 39 years old, he's not finishing someone on the feet. You know what I mean? And he's been Nurmagomedoving, or at least trying to Nurmagomedoving, by just laying on people. I don't think he's going to be able to do that for 5 rounds on Morales. And Burns doesn't have the greatest cardio. Fuck, man. I hate this. But this has been my picks and predictions for Gilbert Burns versus Michael Morales' fight card. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, it's a little bit of a longer one. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I want to thank you for watching. And stay tuned for the breakdown video afterwards. And as always, I hope you have a good day.